But even though this looks like an unnecessarily large mass of bins, organizers,
I don't think
containers,
that's... I'm really looking for ideas here.
Back
I
up,
applaud her
things are
dedication
changing
to
out.
that. Bree here, and as you probably know, I love organizing. It is a passion of mine. Last summer, I completely reorganized our entire house. So I was really excited to see that Moriah Elizabeth uploaded a video organizing my art room and all her squishies. She has a lot of stuff to organize, so I'm very interested to see how she goes about it.
Hey, it's me. I
Hey.
don't know how many of you are here with me today, how many people clicked on this video, because this one is definitely out of nowhere and a little bit different.
Yep, I'm here.
This drawer is not well organized. This one could use a little sprucing. I need to go through this. I could really do better to organize all this.
Yeah. There's some stuff in my office I
Maybe
need
this
to organize
isn't the
too.
best storage solution for that. I really like things like super well organized, like everything in a very specific place. But
Same.
it's
Yes,
not
I'm excited for that.
obsession. It's a commitment.
There's some areas of my office that I kind of need to do this to too. So let me know if you'd ever like to see me make a video like this, because at some point I will be undergoing a very similar project.
First step of reorganizing any space, crawl around like a weirdo.
As someone who organizes a lot, I can attest, this is true. This is the first step.
If you don't do it like that, you're just not going to have a good experience.
Okay, all right.
She speaks truth.
Sorry about my appearance, the unmakeuped face. Enough about my face.
She looks great. And she needs to do a video on her skincare routine because I could not tell she was not wearing makeup.
But even though this looks like an unnecessarily large mass of bins, organizers,
I don't think
containers, and
that's...
things, we are going to have no problem putting this to good use. So let's start with Exhibit A.
Yes, okay. So I have bins like that back here, and at first I'm like, I'm gonna try to keep these organized, and they're hard to organize just because they're a bin. Things just get dumped in there. I'm so excited to see how she goes about organizing them because it's driving me mad.
I'm getting everything out. We are going to have to completely start over here. And then there's Exhibit B. Oh my gosh.
I cringe, but my art supplies is in the exact same state. I'm really looking for ideas here.
I need to see all of what I have and then start sorting things into the different organizers. And it's a little bit of a puzzle. We're just waiting on that brain to process
Yeah, this is
everything.
what the
Come on,
beginning
little
always
buddy,
looks
you got
like.
this. I noticed all these paintbrushes
Overwhelm.
I had still in packaging, so I'm taking them all out, discarding the packaging by throwing it right there.
First step. Seriously, I'm like, well, what's the point of taking it out of the package? Isn't it better to store it in the package? But then when you take out the package, it honestly saves so much space. That should always be step one. Take stuff out of the package and find a way to store it that way.
Look at that, so much better. Now
Beautiful.
I can just test what fit we have here. This will work
Ooh,
splendidly.
very
Moving
nice.
on, I'm continuing to just get rid of
Nice.
any unnecessary packaging.
Inspiration
Even when
churning.
it's nice, pretty, good quality packaging, and it slightly hurts to get rid of it. It's for the greater good. Keep
Yes, and that exactly is my problem. I'm like, but this has such nice packaging, but I could store it better without that packaging. It's worth it.
supplies in the original packaging. It makes them harder to use and it just takes up more space. I got this baby, which is a paper organizer, but I thought that it was just the thing to organize all of my watercolor palettes, etc. I've gotten through all of my go-to, sometimes, art supplies. I've filled quite a collection of organizers.
I'm getting ideas. It's churning in there.
It's time to actually put all of my freshly organized supplies into their new home. Ooh, they look so good. Tell me I'm not the only one getting emotional here. So now what about all the items that were in these cabinets before? For all the paintable fabric, I switched it into one of those pull-out bins that was empty. I felt like this was just going to be a much more orderly way to store all of it. Moving on to all my wooden pieces, so reorganizing all of this is way more exciting to me.
That's a huge difference.
Look at my drawer now.
That's amazing.
We're going to move into a completely fresh area. This is some really old clay that
have
I
some
bought
bins
for
in
making
there.
slime. Gotta be like 5 years ago now. So this definitely dried up. That's
Ooh, yeah.
all useless, okay? So much clay has died in the drawers of my art room. I've gotta stop letting this happen. There's been enough death here.
But when you have things organized, you can more easily see what you have, and stuff doesn't go to waste as often.
I'm gonna make this drawer exclusively for clay. I tried organizing them neatly in the bin, but then I got annoyed and then just tried tossing them in there. I brought in more fluffy clay.
It still looks good.
I hate this. I'm gonna go back and try to straighten all these little containers up. The only problem is they don't all fit in there exactly, perfectly. I decided to just keep in there what fits perfectly and then take all the overflow clay and set that to the side. Let's straighten this up. Magic. Here's the new home for my Sculpey clay.
It's gorgeous.
Now all my clay is in one spot. Well, except for those little overflow containers. We'll address that later. Let's journey on to a
That would bug
happy
me.
place.
The fact that there's overflow containers that are not in the drawer with all the rest of the clay is bugging me. I'm sure it's bugging her too. So, I need to know her plan for it.
There's a vacancy. So I want to make a new drawer of little shinies only for the shiniest of the shinies.
Perfect.
And poof, this is truly a space for little shinies. Now back over here, I've emptied out both this drawer and this drawer, and come over with me. We've got a mess again. This is all just a ton of stuff, and it needs to be resorted. Also, I have this catastrophe. I brought my child in here with me.
No.
She had quite a fun time swimming in the pom-poms.
To be fair, it kind of looks like a piece of art. Just the pom-poms scattered on the floor. It's beautiful, but yeah, not so practical. But if like the pom-poms were intentionally attached to the carpet, that'd be kind of cool. I'd be kind of into that.
This is much the same process that I was doing before, just rearranging things. And now it's time to face it, the pom-pom dilemma. I have so many pom-poms. It's frankly out of control, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to contain this, but it's stumping me. I decided to use this organizer. I'm gonna fill up this organizer to its maximum capacity, and then just take all the extra ones, bag them up, and put them to the side. And not to forget the very fun task of picking up each and every
Where are all
one
these
of
extra
the
things
pom-poms
going,
on the floor.
though?
I have all these tiny little beads and jewelry things, and I decided to resort all of this into these little plastic containers. It's gonna...
For the most part, I'm totally on board with everything she's doing, and I love her methods. For the pom-poms, I probably would have gotten like a bunch of clear boxes, like a big one for the big pom-poms that would fit all of them, and like not just trays, but boxes that they would fit in. But clear, so you still have it visual, so when you open the cabinet, it's like, oh right, I have pom-poms. And you know, they're pretty. You want to be able to see them sometimes. I think that would be a good way to store them, so that way there's not a bunch of overflow, because overflow bugs me. Having stuff that's not with its family of like things bugs me.
Make it much easier to see what I've got. This took absolutely forever.
Oh,
There's
I bet.
just so many little things. But after several
But I love
hours
it.
of sorting and rehousing, everything is in its place. Everything is organized.
I mean, that
in a
pop-up
way
tray
that
does
makes
look very
sense.
nice.
So putting things away
But in the
now.
back of my mind,
Wow,
I know
I'm tired
there's
just watching
excess.
this video. This was a lot of work, but it is so worth it when everything comes together. For this top drawer, it's kind of just like all the leftover stuff that didn't really fit anywhere else. Honestly, not my best work, but you know, it exists.
It's
and I'm
organized within the
okay
drawer.
with
That's
its
what
existence.
matters.
This lovely upper cabinet is my overflow cabinet. Up here is where I'm going to shove all the supplies that didn't quite fit into the organizers. I can come in here and refill. It's not the prettiest cabinet,
It's ugly.
but it's very functional. Back
I mean, I guess that's fair of having if it's a designated spot for overflow, as long as you actually refill. Because I would have the problem of forgetting about the overflow and not refilling, so then I'd end up eventually just pulling from the overflow itself instead of using it to refill, no, but I guess that works. But yeah, that cabinet did not make me feel all warm and fuzzy, I will admit that.
here are my containers of little things. Oh, and they don't fit perfectly in there.
No.
Devastating blow. This is what hardship looks like. But I've got to just go with it, try to be strong, and just shove these little tiny containers in the
That
side
works.
gap and pretend like that's that's ideal when it's really not.
She made the most of it.
I'm taking this big weird thing to just organize this drawer just a little bit more. The drawer down here
okay.
needs the same treatment. There we go. Wonderful. Moving on to
Much
this
better.
drawer, which is actually in my painting table. I've complained about how ugly this drawer is in the past.
This is one of the uglier places in my art room.
And I mean, I'm doing my best.
I
to clean
love
it up
those
here,
colored
but
organizers.
Boards and boxes.
It's nice because everything else that she's organized is like clear containers with the stuff inside is colorful, so you get that visual stimulation of the colors with everything. But with electronics and wires, you don't get that. So here, the container itself is colored. I like that.
I got this big acrylic display stand to really help me neaten everything up and make it so that it's
Nice.
nice and visible. Yeah, that's nice. That's better. It's time to address the squishy situation. I think you might be able to tell my squishy collection has grown even more in the past few
Oh
years.
my,
What I
that
thought was ridiculous
is
has
so
reached an even
many
bigger level
squishies.
of ridiculous. This seems very familiar. Dumping out all the squishies on the ground, except for a couple select bins that did manage to stay organized, so I'm not going to dump those out, and they're just, all the squishies are coming out. Now there's a giant mountain of squishies on the floor.
Jump in, please jump
Last
in.
time I was very immature and did all kinds of nonsense, but you know, it's been a couple years. I've grown up. I'm not going to do that stuff anymore, except that I am.
Yes!
It's happening
Thank you.
again. I have to sort every single one of these squishies into a category. They all need to go somewhere. Looking at this pile, I'm starting to get worried.
That is
Well,
so
it's too late to
overwhelming
turn back
to look
now,
at.
so might as well just get to it. It's just a matter of getting all the squishies into the right bin, which became almost like a never-ending carnival game. Toss the squishy into the bin.
I swear that pile's not
Hours
getting any
on
smaller.
end. But it really needed to be done, and it is worth it because once things are organized, you don't have to spend time looking for things. And also, it just makes me feel so much better and makes me excited to use all the things that are
Yeah,
available to
totally.
me. I'm finally starting to get down to the wire here. Oh, watch all the squishies dwindling. They're dwindling. And yes, that's it. Every
There is an
squishy
end in
sorted.
sight.
Hallelujah. Now I'm just stacking
Wow.
all the bins back
I
up
applaud
into
her
the
dedication to
mountain
that.
formation. And it doesn't really look much different than it did at the start of the process.
But it feels
trust me,
different.
it is. It's very different. We've got animals 1, 2, and 3. My favorites: cake, ice cream and drinks, donuts and cupcakes, mixed desserts, people and objects, animal desserts, minis, the hopeless bin, savory food, bread and buns, and fruit. Woo! And those are all the areas that I was able to organize within my art room for this video. Honestly, there are still a few places that I would like to deal with
Part
at
two?
some point,
Part
but
two?
this was
Eventually?
a really long one, and I really just crammed as much into this video as I could, so we've got to wrap it up.
I don't know. Should I do a video reorganizing like drawers and stuff in my office? Because I need to do that. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a like, and if you want to keep watching, there should be another video popping up right here. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe to become a part of the Ineffable community, because you are ineffable.